Yeah. Okay, welcome everyone to the People Speak Out. It's me, Rachel Eleanor Love, hosting today. Helen is away, Sass is busy, so I'm in the hot seat. And we're in this gap between the Christmas celebrations and the New Year celebrations. And so it's just a really beautiful little pause as we kind of build up our energy to bringing in the new 2025 energy, which is already incoming. The year of the snake started, that snake energy of transformation started coming in on the winter solstice as the dragon exited stage left and the snake is coming in stage right. And I played the intro music for people who are waiting. Was One Love by Bob Marley and the Wailers. And that was inspired because I actually watched that movie last night, One Love, if you've seen it. It's very beautiful movie, actually. And it's kind of quite resonant in this household because my two eldest sons are mixed race and their father is Jamaican. So it had a lot of resonance. And MJ, my son, my eldest son, came and watched it with me, and I've said I'm now calling him Jar. So yeah, it's a movement of Jar people, and it's very interesting to watch that movie because it's very similar to our freedom movement energy, that movement of sovereignty, standing in our rights, stand up for your rights, and the movement of the people and the power of the people. And he was a great advocate of peace and bringing peace to the island of Jamaica at a time when it was divided by politics and descending into violence. Very, very poignant movie. So I wanted to just open with that. And obviously all voices are welcome on this call. So I'll just do a little build up while we are, while you're hopefully to inspire some contributions and anything that you would like to share. But before we get into any more detail, let's just do a bit of an alignment as people are joining. And welcome to everyone who's on, to Val and David, James, Wendy, Karine, Patrick, Roger, Chris. I won't go on through everyone who's on here, but welcome to you all. Let's just do a 60-second alignment to fully land in the space and to calm our nervous system. Really important. I'm really getting this. And maybe I'll talk about this just after I've done this, about the importance of just regulating our nervous system. So the easiest way to do that is to unfold everything, have feet flat on the floor, spine straight, and just to take 3 long, deep breaths. Breathing in through the nose, but then when you blow out, if you blow out very slowly over the bottom lip, it's very calming. So and as you're doing those long, deep, slow breaths in through the nose and blowing out slowly over the bottom lip, consciously dropping from the mind, trying to work it all out, into the heart, into the body. Fully feeling the support of the earth beneath your feet and the chair beneath your sitting bones, coming out of everything that you were doing before this call. I was out quickly walking Kobe and coming out of everything that is due to happen after the call, so we can be fully present in the now moment. So it's just nice to have that little alignment and to welcome you to share whatever's coming up for you. Maybe you want to share what you have been doing over Christmas or what you have planned for the new year, or indeed anything that you are wishing to bring into creation in 2025. I did mention that I'm launching a new program, 90 Days to Transformation, which I'm putting out to my whole sort of followers database on the new moon, which is this evening. So we're currently in the dark of the moon, which is a beautiful time of magic and miracles. Actually, whatever intentions it's a good time to cast spells, basically, the dark of the moon. The one thing I wanted to just speak to because on the Rachel Speaks Out channel, and I've started to post a lot more positive content of expansive visionary content, which is future focused. And of course, you get these naysayers coming in, and I kind of always I see these naysayers, and they're quite often new people who just popped in. So I think, oh, maybe they're a Crestbrook villager or a 77th Brigade or some kind of naysayer, and they're very easy to spot because they've got a very kind of dissonant energy. It's very easy to notice them. They stick out like a sore thumb because they're not coming from a place of expansive, loving heart energy. They're coming from a place of kind of critical, carping, kind of pointy, poison arrow energy is how I would describe it. So this particular message was basically saying, what's happened to you? You know, you were Rachel Speaks Out and like doing all of this activism, and now you want us to sort of just stop that and focus on creating, and it's kind of like la spiritual bypassing. And I wanted to address this. And the analogy that I was kind of thinking about as I was just walking Kobe is, imagine if there was a sort of a malevolent force, shall we say, that wanted to control all the people. And say for example, we'd all been tricked into taking what we thought was a holiday to this incredible island. And so, you know, come to this island, it's going to be great, it's lovely, the weather, skies are blue, sea is green, there's a yellow submarine, you know, oh, you have to have some travel jabs to get there, but don't worry about that, they'll keep you safe from malaria. So we all find ourselves on this island, and then very quickly the kind of magic of it wears off, and we realize there's no flights out. They say, oh, the flights have been cancelled because there's stormy weather, and to keep you safe, we can't actually put any flights. So we're all trapped here, and now we're going to have to ration your food, and because there's not enough food to go round. So to keep everyone safe, and so if you wanted to control this island of people, you'd want to keep their energy focused on, oh, you've you know, like, you're trapped here, and isn't it terrible? And you know, oh, these bad people, that who did this to us, and you know, they're going to pay a price when we managed to get off here. And all of your energy would be focused on complaining, as opposed to coming together and saying, hold on, we're going to take control of the situation, we're going to take control of the island, and then we're going to work out a way that we're going to get back home. You know, that's kind of so this, to me, it's like we've been through the phase of awakening where there's enough of a critical mass of us who actually are consciously aware. So that was the first stage for the freedom movement. It's like, wake people up. And so many people who saw my original video, it's like, you were saying what I was saying, and it was breaking the mass formation psychosis. But we're now in a different phase. And we've already been in that phase, and so many people are in that phase of co-creating the alternative, because it's not going to happen through politics. I mean, we went into politics, we know it's corrupt. Like, no matter how much energy is poured into politics, that's not how we're going to change things. We're going to change things through co-creating the world we do want. And that's not just on a practical level, that's on a visionary, energetic level. And this is exactly what Pam Gregory is talking to, is she says that 2025 will be a year like no other, because it's a quantum shift, and it's an evolutionary shift, where the old will fall away like a butterfly shedding its cocoon as it emerges. So it's like, we don't have to worry about the old system. It's going to fall away. It's already crumbling. We can see it's collapsing. So what we need to do is co-create, and absolutely focus all our energy on co-creating the new. And that isn't just on a practical level, that's visionary, dreaming it in. And if you notice all of these themes, like on movies, they're all doom and gloom. All of the narrative is doom and gloom. So this is what we're being called to do now, and it's the next phase. And I'm really feeling that. And in my own life, I've been delivered this massive life transformation. And it's like I've shed a skin. It literally is like I've shed an old skin. and it's like so expansive. And I may well film a video about it because I haven't done any videos for a while. I may well film a new moon, New Year video on it shortly. But anyway, so this is where my energy currently is. So I'd really welcome your inputs, your feelings, where you're at. Are you feeling that expansion of possibility, or are you still in the contraction of doom and gloom and fear and worry and it's all terrible and what are we going to do? So this is, I'd love to open that kind of conversation. It's 12:12 right now. So who would like to come on the call? David, would you like to come? David, Love and Freedom. Yes. Cool.
Hello. I was just about to put my hand up.
Just asking you as you're putting your hand up. So I must be
Yes.
psychic.
Hello. It's a sign. It's probably stands out a bit. Yeah, hi everybody. Nice to see you all on this dawn of a new year, or calendar year, as some people may say. That's open to debate, that one. It's a great time of year. I love this time of year because I feel like we are letting go of the last year, which, whatever people think of it, I feel it's a fresh new start. It's letting go of all the heavy stuff that's been happening. Now, something I was wanting to mention really was about energy and love, as you've been talking about, Rachel. Regarding Christmas, isn't it funny how every time we have a run up to Christmas, there's always doom and gloom stories about not going out on Christmas Day. Don't see your loved ones. There's a quademic, I think the latest thing is a quademic at Christmas time. It's very dangerous and it captures you when you're eating your dinner around the table with your family. We've also had a terrible plane crash in I think, Azerbaijan on Christmas Day, interestingly enough. And it's just, I feel like we've been bombarded with darkness in the run-up to Christmas. Isn't it funny how it's always in the run-up to Christmas and never in the run-up to Halloween? It's never, oh, don't go out trick-or-treating, dangerous, oh, it could spread viruses. It's always Christmas time and it's all energetic, I think. Now, I wouldn't describe myself as a Christian personally. However, I feel I've got a lot more Christian values than not. And I feel this is very much a battle. I don't like using that word, but it's a battle between light and darkness. And for me, going into 2025, I'm more passionate than ever to try and lift people's energies, promote more love and freedom, and also to remind people that they are heroes. Each and every one of us, each and every one of you is a hero, but we've been told from day one that we're not heroes. And that's something we need to remember, is that we are the heroes who are going to shape our future and shape the world for the better if we want to. And that's all I have to say.
Thanks, David. Yeah, and thanks for raising that about the doom and gloom bad news, because I was driving, I did a round trip. I went to Philly J. Lay's Christmas, New Year, birthday celebration drinks I did like a 7-hour round trip to where I now live. And I was listening to the radio, great music, which is what inspired me to watch the One Love movie. Incredible music playing and just like really tuning in. And but obviously I'm guessing it was on radio too, and I'm getting the hourly news bulletin, and it's like there's a plane crash in Seoul or Korea somewhere, and the plane skidded and burst into a fireball, and all 178 died apart from 2 who were pulled out of the wreckage, and then like someone's been stabbed in Ilkeston. And I'm kind of thinking, if you were in charge, or if I was in charge, or if you were in charge of that bulletin, it's like, what would you choose to pick? And who chooses this? And how do they select out of everything that you could report in that 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like to put in some amazing, like incredible story of human achievement, of something amazing? But no, it's like horror. And it's just like, wow. And just you start to see this so clearly, constantly trying, a bit like a sort of slightly abusive, narcissistic relationship where I mean, my mother used to be a bit like this, which is anytime I was up and like joyful, and she'd sort of like, you try and like pull me down, and you're getting too big for your boots, or blah, 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 blah. And, it's that kind of contraction of trying to just like bring you down as opposed to lift you up. So yeah, thank you for raising that, because this is the point, because the people behind this are masters of metaphysics, and they know that where focus of energy and attention goes, that's where energy flows, where attention goes. And so the more you can say, don't look up there, look at, look down here at all this and all these problems and oh dearie me. So the more that we focus on what we do want, we magically co-create it. And all it takes is a critical mass. It doesn't take all 8 billion people on the planet. Just takes a critical mass. And there are so many people now bringing this energy in. And it's very exciting.
Amazing. Very exciting. And I'm very positive for the year ahead. I think it's going to be an amazing year with lots of great opportunities.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, David, for opening the call. David, Love and Freedom.
Thank you.
And please, David, put your link in the chat so people can read more about you, join your tribe or whatever you're offering, so they can tap into that energy. And Roger, I'm going to come to you next. Rog, hey, can you unmute yourself, sweetie? Hey, Rog.
I did that, but anyway, it didn't seem to work. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Hi, Rog. How you doing?
I'm okay, love. I just want to thank you for hosting today and for the inspirational, as usual, inspirational talk at the beginning. Yes, I agree with you. I'm 100% sure that you're right. We're entering an era of positivity, and my era is starting with a new form of transport. Because I'm unable to drive a motor car because of the injustice which has gone on around me, I focus my attention on a tricycle. So fortunately, my good friend here in the flats where I am has assembled a tricycle for me, and I shall start the new year by riding the tricycle and hope that people will follow my example, because we're talking about a form of transport which is eco-friendly, it's cheap, and it gives exercise, because the tricycle I've got is not an electric one. I purposely avoided that because I want to use the exercise to maintain fitness. So I'm hoping to encourage people to use this form of transport, and so that's my bit of positivity for the coming year. So thank you once again, Rachel.
Thanks, Rog, and hopefully you have a receptive audience here that will help you to promote your new tricycle. And it's interesting because if anyone is in or visits Bakewell or knows Bakewell, that you'll often see John Butler of Bakewell, cycling around the park on his tricycle. He's got a nice big shopping basket on it, and he goes to the shops and he just trundles around, and he's well into his 80s, I think, now, and maybe even 90. And and he's so fit and healthy and just so, it's such a great form of exercise. Obviously, it's quite flat, the park in Bakewell. And the funny thing about it is, in terms of the synchronicity of manifestation, I'm going through the same thing with the powers that be, and alleged speeding, and trying to stop me from utilising the public highways, as is my lawful right, which may well on the 7th of February, on my next hearing, which I will be going to under duress at Kidderminster Magistrates Court. Now, they may well thwack me with some, points, or withdraw my license. Who knows? I mean, anyway, and it's funny because there's a weird little funny local shop near here, and it's almost like a front for sort of nefarious activities, actually. And this secondhand tricycle appeared in the window. This is about a month ago, a few weeks ago, just before Christmas. This tricycle appeared in the window with a sign saying for sale. And I was looking at it thinking, oh, maybe I should get that. If I lose my license, I could get that tricycle, and then I got a way to get to the shops. And then you sent me a message, Rog, saying you're gonna get yourself a tricycle. So I thought, oh, that's real synchronicity that I literally saw that, and then you suddenly said you're going to get them. So the synchronicities are moving fast at the current time. So wishing you lots of luck and love with that new venture, Rog, and hopefully that will bring liberation to many people and lots of vitality, opportunity and empowerment. So that's what we're about, isn't it? Love. Yeah,
Absolutely.
one love.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yes.
Nice to hear from you then. And I'm going to come to Val next. If you want to come on again, Rog, put your hand up. I'm just going to keep going round. Let's come to Val.
Hello, you can hear me okay?
Hi, Val.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello. Actually, here's your third sign. I've got a tricycle.
Ah.
I've got a brand new. No, I had mine a few years ago. It's a Pashley, and it's not electric, but I absolutely love it. I live in a little market town, so rather than walk, because I have a problem with my mobility, and rather than drive, I can use the tricycle.
Yeah.
A bit of exercise, and it's got a thing on the back where I can put shopping in, and it's actually a bit of a talking point. Every time I get on it, somebody says, "Where'd you get that?" or "I love your bike," and even the little kids are going, "Woo, there's a grown-up on a tricycle," you know. So I love it, absolutely love it. You can't go very fast on it, but then that suits me perfectly fine. So yeah, absolutely, go for it. Get a tricycle. That wasn't my main reason for coming on anyway, but it's interesting. I'm quite optimistic about this next year, partly because I've been waiting for it for 20 years, because back in the 90s, I went to a big conference where there was supposed to be an opening of a portal towards bringing in the Christ consciousness, which would culminate in 2025.
Wow.
So ever since the 90s, I've been waiting for 2025. So that alone is making it feel very positive to me. But interestingly enough, on my sort of path, I suppose, I'm getting all sorts of insights about different things. Every day there's something new happens. Sometimes they're little insights, sometimes big ones. But my husband and I have started doing a Greg Braden course. It was one that came out in the mid 2015, 16. But the important bit is that he's talking about and been teaching us heart math. So we've been doing, like you were doing at the beginning, which is about taking your attention down into your heart, and then starting to use your heart as a kind of discernment tool, if you like, or like kinesiology, where every time you have to make a decision or you want an answer to a question, you use your heart and you ask your heart questions. So a bit like the kinesiology thing where you use your arm or your fingers or whatever. It's the same principle, same idea. And that feels like that's really important, because coming into next year, as we've already said, it's all about learning to, I don't know, communicate with people and make decisions about things coming from your heart, from a loving place. And that doesn't mean weakness. You can be very strong and loving. But I feel like this next year is going to be inviting us to do that more and more. And it's going to be really important, because all the things that are falling away are all to do with the head and to do with power and greed and an attitude that's old school now, isn't it? And we need to go forward with this new attitude, because I feel like how we conduct ourselves in the world is going to affect others around us. People are going to listen and watch and maybe ask questions, who knows, but we're going to be examples or way showers, light bearers, whatever it might be, for the way to be in the world and how to make this new world. And I think this next year might be very turbulent, with an awful lot of stuff breaking down and falling away. but we need to be ready to step in the breach, or start to build, if we haven't already, start building the foundations for that. So yeah, that's just about where I am with it.
Brilliant, Val. Yeah, thank you for that. Yes, I do agree. It's all about that heart resonance. And that's like when you do divination, that's one of the things that, you know, like the I Ching or tarot, it's like dropping into your heart and tuning in and taking some deep breaths and then doing the divination, so that it's like the universe is speaking to us, and then that it speaks through the cards or the I Ching coins. So it's an important stage in the process is to drop into the heart. And the other really powerful way to do that is to go out in nature, and because it's naturally helps us to be in that connection, doesn't it? In that resonance.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm feeling more and more, I'm recognizing that connection with nature, and that we're not separated from it. And that comes from love. It's got such a strong love energy to it. You know, so yeah, absolutely. I agree with you.
Cool. Thanks, Val. Thanks for coming on. And so I'm going to come back to the gallery view. Let's see who we've got on the call. Oh yeah, Val's muted back. So James, let's come to you. So if anyone would like to come on and contribute to the conversation, update us on where you're at, share your visions and what you're feeling into around 2025, please do put your hand up. So I'm going to come to James. All voices welcome. Oh, did I just mute you back? Hey, James. Hi.
Yes, you had.
Sorry.
That's all right. No problem at all. I just put my hand up simply because you'd run out of hands up on the screen. I'm basically loving this so far. Everybody's been saying such excellent things that I would totally agree with. I loved your opening talk for a start. That was perfect. And Pam Gregory and all the rest. And of course, she's not the only one saying the same sort of thing. You know, there's ones like, probably forget the names now, Nikki Allen, the psychic one. And so we've got the ones coming through from the, what we consider angelic and the spirit guides. And we've also got the ETs, and they're all saying the same sort of thing. The Palladians through Larkmar, who comes through a couple, Pier and Cullen, something or other. I remember the names later, probably, but I can share links when this goes up on either YouTube or Odyssey. But yeah, they're all saying the same sort of thing. Oh, mentioning the calendar years, I think it was David mentioned that. Larkmar, they've got their own calendar out for the Palladians. They say the new year should really start in spring, March, with probably the return of the crops and all that sort of thing. Well, planting, I suppose. But anyway, in the spring. So that's interesting. So looking forward to all that time. And then there's the ones like Danny Henderson with her channel, and there's ET communication and all that, and other technologies, new technologies for the new Earth. They're going to be presented in or talked about in Eastbourne this year in May, in just a weekend, 10th or 11th, I think it is, something like that. And you can sign up for that. I'll try and remember to put these links when I put something on Odyssey or wherever. So it's all looking good, and they're all saying the same sort of thing. You know, it's all going to happen in 2025, or the major kickoff of it. They even think and believe confidently that Trump, even I might have mentioned this last week or 2 weeks ago, that he may not be perfect, but his team are going to be working with the ETs, and they already are, really. So it's all going to be wonderful. So I've really loved what everybody else has been saying about how nice it's going to be, because I totally and utterly agree.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, James. Yeah, and the more people that speak that message and add their energy to it, the more it manifests. You know, so it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, you know, energetically. But yeah, you're absolutely right about the spring, because obviously like, you know, all of like pagan Imbolc really is the first day of spring, 1st of February. And like in the Chinese New Year fully comes in. I think it's on the 27th or 29th, 30th of January, the snake fully lands with that new moon in late January. And then the new Chinese solar year, which is the 9-star key year, is on the 4th of February. And then obviously the Western astrology is the spring equinox, is the start of the astrological year. So it is a rising energy. But I mean, where I am, it's like quite interesting to notice that the shoots are already coming out, like on the hydrangea here. All the new shoots are already here. It's really interesting. It's like spring's already started energetically. I can see the growth coming through, and yeah, so it's definitely that rising tide of new energy coming in. And I just wanted to say something to what you said about the higher dimensional beings. They are so benevolent, and that in my experience I've connected with them more through dreams and medicine journeys, ayahuasca journeys. But they are like perfect sacred geometry. They are just incredibly like super intelligence, super benevolent wisdom. And I think it was Pam Gregory, she just did a talk about 2025. And she was saying, you just don't need to worry, because there's this sort of idea that there might be some dark archontic energy that's going to destroy us or something. And she was saying, you know, if they were going to do that, they would have done it. they've had like thousands of years to do that.
Yeah.
Because the higher, and I think someone else, I think Robert Grant was on Aubrey Marcus. The dishwasher's broken down here. And so I'm hand washing up with my marigolds on, and I'm watching all this inspirational content, because it takes me about an hour. So I think I'll put on an Aubrey Marcus podcast or something, like with all these fascinating guests like Robert Grant and talking about, and the other guys talking about Rosicrucians, can't remember his name, and these amazing, and Nassim Haramein, and just like the most incredible visionary thinkers. I think this is where I've kind of like absorbing a lot of this content from. And yeah, they were just saying about the support that there is, and yeah, it's not malevolent. So the malevolent energy is the 3D realm, kind of old school, wanting to preserve the power and the wealth of the elite, that is desperately trying to hold back this awakening consciousness, which is unstoppable now. So it's just like, so they are literally having to throw every tool out of their pram to try to stop it, but it's just unstoppable, and it's actually quite laughable. So so it's sort of like a joke almost, like a
a good thing to laugh at it as well.
Yeah, exactly, to bring in that laughter is slaughter, as I've said before. That's Kelly Slade expression, that laughter is slaughter. So Karine wants to have a contribution. Yes, let's get the people on, because otherwise it will be Rachel speaks out, not the people speak out. So over to you, Karine. Thanks, James.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are. And then
Okay.
we'll come to Eileen after you.
No, I can't turn it
Okay.
up. No, it doesn't. My volume's at naught here. Oh yeah. So basically, well, it's really interesting for me, because although I do feel very aligned with the light, and I know I constantly and just remembering there's this massive thing going on in the world right now, and we're chosen to be here, and my alignment is to the light and to being the best I can with my heart. And I know when everyone's saying, it's going to be a big year, I'm very deeply troubled by what's happening with Israel and Yemen. I spent time in the Yemen in the 80s. and this bombing that's going on, and also the fact that Trump and even Bobby Kennedy, you know, they are very much aligned with Israel and the Zionist. And my heart does bleed about this. You know, and then it turns out I also read something, not that I want to kind of consume a lot of this dark stuff, but that Bobby Kennedy has never come out and actually said that he would challenge the mRNA jabs. And Trump is still, although there's this talk of pulling the pharmaceutical companies up, he's still very pro mRNA jabs. And so, I mean, I know that Trump isn't going to be, you know, nobody is going to be a savior. I'm under no illusion about that. But I just feel it, you know, and I just think, oh, well, we've got our community assembly in Frome, but we're tiny. We're, you know, a tiddly group of people. And it, although it just feels like, oh my God, it just feels like we are still a very small percentage of the population. And I know we are all shining our light. I'm feeling really troubled still. Now I feel teary.
Oh, Corinne, yes. And so it's easy to look at the world and feel that despair. However, firstly, to bear in mind that all of this horrific war, why is it being created? Because they want to fill, it's a bit like in 1984, George Orwell, just they want to fill the news with catastrophe and horror. And the thing about what's going on in Israel is it's waking up billions of people all over the planet. And at the end of the day, who is R.F. Kennedy to really push mRNA or anything when everyone says, no, I don't want it, because there's enough people, and not just like the community assemblies, the activists are the tip of a huge iceberg of people who've worked out for themselves through enough people speaking down the pub or wherever, of like, they're not going to go through it near those jabs again. I mean, I was in the supermarket checkout, and the woman, an old lady and the supermarket checkout woman were having that conversation in front of me, and I thought I could easily get involved here, but I don't need to.
Yeah.
They've already worked it out. Oh, I'm not having any more of those jabs. I felt so ill last time. Oh no, my mum, she died after, you know, oh no, they're terrible. That's what's going on. So it's like, yes, these community assemblies and the activists and people who are turning up to maybe still going to stand in the park might be a very seemingly a small amount, but the wave of energy, the truth is seeping through across everyone. People, you know, there's enough people who are, you know, this idea that like it's got to be all 8 billion, it only needs a critical mass to quantum leap the evolutionary energy, you know, the next stage of evolution. So please don't despair, Corinne. And it's I'm not advocating that we just ignore and bury our head in the sand, but let's focus our energy on what we can influence. Having just spent 18 months in politics, and I just, all of the energy I poured into that, I just, yes, I felt I had to do it, but I just know that politics is too tightly nailed down. We have to have, you know, it's a better focus of energy to just co-create like alternative possibilities and teach the visionary, keep energizing, because the infinite intelligence is responding. So all of the prayers, all of the vigils, all of the meditations for peace that are being held as a result of, and those souls are very evolved souls. To be born into a war zone, you need to be a very high dimensional evolved soul to take that path in this lifetime, you know. And so, yeah, I totally get it. But that despair is one of the things they want to bring everyone's energy down. They want everyone to be feeling helpless, powerless in the face of overwhelming forces that are just unstoppable and uncontrollable, but we are an overwhelming, unstoppable, uncontrollable force. And the power of our no, and the power of our outrage and intention and visioning, it can eclipse all of that shit show. So yeah, it's I just wanted to bring in that message, but I don't want to denigrate anyone's horror or suffering, because we are here to alleviate pain and suffering. We're here to fulfill our bodhisattva vows, essentially.
Absolutely. So yes, and thank you. And actually, somebody who I have been following, he's called Samuel B. Lee, and he's really inspiring. And it's all about, you know, the repairing of our DNA and higher beings, and so I am very positive. It's just that I'm also very aware of my grief for the suffering.
Yes.
But yeah, and my main way is I'm just gardening and chanting.
Yes. Yes.
But much love to you. Thank you for all the Zoom calls, and much love to everybody. And I'm going to mute myself now.
Thanks, Corinne. Thanks for coming on. Let's come to Eileen next, and then Wendy's got her hand up. Eileen, hi. It's great to see so many of you coming on and contributing to the conversation.
Yes, Happy New Year to everybody, and thank you, Rachel, for continuing this. I nearly gave up, to be honest, because I know it's going public, and so I'm very much aware of anything I say will then be seen by many. But I'm afraid there's two things I was going to speak about, but Corinne has actually upset the cat. What's it called? Put a spoke in the wheel. I very much agree with Corinne and everything she was saying. And so I'll start what I have to say with, believe it or not, I've been following George Galloway MP, and I'm very sorry that he didn't get re-elected. Now, there's this Indian journalist who used to work for the BBC, and he's got his own channel, and he sort of dissects all the information on the Middle East and Gaza and everything, and Gaza. And he said the reason George Galloway lost his seat at the general election, which is so often happens, is because it was a case of get the Conservatives out. You see, this is what happens in the end. Somebody wins on a by-election, and then when it comes to the general election, people don't want to vote for them because they want one out or one in. So that's why he didn't get re-elected. And I just feel that if he was in Parliament again, he would be a real spanner in the works. I was watching him last night on a recording, and I just agree with everything he was saying. Say he's pro-Palestine and everything, but it's general politics altogether, really. I'd almost say he was the opposite of the Reform Party. Because I think the Reform Party, at the end of the day, they're going to be pro-Israel. You know, they may be sort of not saying too much about it, but I think at the end of the day, I suspect they would be pro-Israel. Because there's so much support going into them, finances and everything. But anyway, that's not what I came on to say. Anyway, George Galloway is the People's Party. So if you want another opinion, there is other people out there that might help Corinne as well as myself to know that, you know, we're not alone. But I really came on. I've been housebound since I fractured my hip, and I have carers coming in twice a day. And it's really to give a shout for the carers. They are absolutely wonderful, and they're motivated spiritually. I think most of them are doing it from the heart. There's no way they could be doing this for the money. It's disgraceful. And I always say to them, I used to work for management consultants and public relations company in the city and everything, in the office, bright enough for the office. And I feel that somebody should draw up a job description for carers. I'm talking now the ones that visit you in your home. Somebody should really, because if people realise what their work entailed, each time they're going into a new home, like coming to me for the first time, they don't know what they're going into, the situation they're going into, where all the facilities are that they need and everything. And at the time they've got this calmness and everything. But I just think they're wonderful. And I thought I'd give them a shout that, you know, they're totally underpaid, undervalued. Because again, that's it, isn't it? If you don't pay people much, then people don't value them. But somebody should draw up a job description, and I'm sure they're worth treble what they earn. So that's what I actually came on to say.
Thanks, Eileen.
Okay.
Yeah, The late great Dee Sunshine was a carer, amongst many other roles, and totally heart-centered, compassionate, in total service. So thank you for that acknowledgement to the carers. And I guess, like, job description, I suppose if you had a care agency, there are job descriptions, aren't there? A lot of they come through agencies, don't they, care workers?
They do. I mean, yes, they are. But again, I just feel that it should somehow, it's got to be rated more publicly.
Yeah.
You see. Yeah, I just feel that we need to get get our values right.
Yeah.
We need to get our values right.
Well, I do believe that will come in with this new wave of energy.
Yeah.
You know, that this realignment of value and how we value people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like all the billionaires and millionaires, and nobody says to them, what do you do with your money? You know, I mean, there's all this crisis going on, and appeals for, as we know, all these on the television, these people give £2 a month and everything. And I'm thinking there's enough money in the world to deal with all these problems and everything, and make the world a better place and life on Earth a better place. But we're getting poorer and they're getting richer.
Well, David's just put in a little message. Has it? It's just disappeared. But he was basically saying, carers are poorly paid and underappreciated by design. They are working selflessly to heal and nurture others. The beings detest care and love, and therefore, the more horrid people are, the more they award them with money, titles, and peerages.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely true, because the system is desperately trying to uphold itself, and it rewards greed and power and selfish and not so much heart-centered people.
Yeah.
So, but we're changing things. Things are changing. So thanks for coming on,
Thank you.
Eileen. And and don't get me started about reform. I absolutely know from being in politics, they were absolutely set up and financed to scupper the Conservatives, deliver a landslide to Labour, despite the fact Labour got less than 20% of the vote, so that Labour could just have the baton and carry on the World Economic Forum shit show. So reform was just a sideshow, and it's totally financed by big corporate interests. Nothing to do with the people whatsoever. Anyway, don't get me into politics. Let's come to Wendy.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi,
everybody. Hope you can hear me all right. I'm having to move around. I'm house sitting in an eco project, which is
beautiful.
Great. It is beautiful, but just tricky with the internet. I wanted to come on because I've got a little bit fed up, I suppose, with my own inaction. So I joined Michael Tellinger's One Small Town, bought some Infinity tokens, absolutely love the guy. And interestingly, at the beginning of lockdown, I found myself on a Zoom call with him. So I've followed him for the last 4 years. I just think he's absolutely brilliant at what he does. So I've joined that. And then the next day, a friend of mine said, well, I know a lady called Karen McCabe, who's an ambassador for One Small Town for Derbyshire, Staffordshire, and another shire. And then there's somebody in Nottinghamshire who's a gentleman who's an ambassador for this. So that's my one step into that moving forward. And then the other thing I did, I went to lovely Julie, who I can't remember the lady's name, but I've just had an email today saying that my sovereign deed is in the post from Ireland. So that was really excited, because I went to that day that Julie organised.
Julie Tasker.
That's it. Yes,
Yeah.
Julie Tasker. Thank you. So I'm just like, I feel quite excited, because I feel like I've made some steps forward of building somehow, somewhere, a community to be in, or whether it be a small town, or whether it be I don't know, wherever it will be. I'm just sort of putting my little, weaving a web of what I really would love to have in my life, and setting those seeds. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to share, really, those things.
Beautiful, Wendy. Yes, one small town. It's rooted in Ubuntu, isn't it? The concept
Ubuntu,
of
yes.
Ubuntu, which is like, how can I be happy if one person is sad, and how can one person be sad if everyone is happy? It's like no one's happy until everyone's happy. It's
Yes,
like,
that's what it says. Yeah,
it's an African tribal way of being, which is really tribal based, which is looking after the whole tribe and whole family, and
yeah,
making sure that everyone's fed. So like African children will share their food, they won't just grab it and eat it for themselves, like selfishly, like in the West.
yeah.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, because when just to very quickly say as well, at the very beginning of all of this, I joined your group, and I was homeless at the time, so I know how that feels to not have a home, to even my own family, and some, you know, a couple of my family members didn't want to know me, or so I know that, you know, it comes from a real heart place that nobody should go without, nobody should be homeless. You know, if it's not good for the whole, then it's not good for anybody.
Yes.
And it's real heart-centered. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, thank you.
And these are basic fundamental human rights, and it's in the American
Yeah,
Constitution that every person should have you know, access to like accommodation, water, clean water, you know, the right to work, the right to live freely, and all of these things are rooted in our basic fundamental human rights.
yeah,
So yeah, that's society is being called to align fully to honouring those basic fundamental rights, as opposed to the big corporate influencers trying to create scarcity and squashing and punishing and denying.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So thank you for coming on, Wendy.
yeah,
And
thank you.
let's come to Indigo Neen.
Hi, Rachel. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi. What's your name?
Don't ask me how I got that name up there. I can't remember. I'm not very technical.
Okay.
It's Janine, actually, Rachel. You sent me a ticket for the Together.
Oh, Janine, hi. Yes.
Yes,
Did you
hi.
go?
I did actually.
I couldn't make it. Yeah, I bought the ticket for the Together conference, wasn't it? And
Yes, I did go, and it was great. And I think I said thank you to you and offered some piano lessons. So I'm still happy to.
oh, do you know, I didn't see that. Sorry,
Oh,
email probably got lost buried in my inbox. So
no,
I was
no,
moving
it's
as
fine.
well.
Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to give a kind of energy exchange, but I thought I would say
I'd love that. Yeah, thank you.
okay, anytime. Give me a call. I thought I haven't spoken. I've only been to, I think this is my second or third one of these, and I've just sort of sat in the back and listened. I haven't got much to say. Well, I've probably got loads to say, but I'm not going to say much. The only thing I'm going to say is what's interesting about the at the moment, there's so many there's been two very interesting curved balls that have happened. One of them is the song It'll Be Freezing This Christmas, or whatever it's called. And the other one is the petition that's, I think, just a few thousand away from 3 million. And I think it's very interesting because it's like these two things happened very kind of haphazardly. The guy that did the song didn't think anything of it. He just kind of felt impelled to just put it out and got some, I don't know, Elvis impersonator or something to sing it, and you know, did a little kind of backing track. And it's just amazing the impact it's had with ordinary people, the public, you know. And the other one is the petition, of course. And I heard that guy speaking, and he said, oh, I thought maybe it was just a few, you know, if I got 1,000, I'd be absolutely delighted. So there's been no real effort or struggle or fighting, or, you know, it's just happened very naturally. And it's felt like these two things are like a natural conduit of the voice of the people have just come through these, you know, throwaway things almost that turned out to be quite big, you know. So I'm just interested in how energy works like that. It doesn't always involve great struggle and or great insight. It's just the ordinary people. And like you, Rachel, I mean, I love talking in Sainsbury's or Waitrose or wherever I go, and just talking to the cashier and talking about cash or talking about, you know, and you know, I think the percentage of people that don't want these jabs anymore is huge. And I think all these little things are really, really significant. And they're desperate to have more people have them now. So that's another fantastic sign that things are changing from the ground up, which is where it needs to change.
Yeah. Yes, interesting. Yeah, no, thanks, Janine. And I have to say, when I saw that video for the It's Freezing This Christmas, I thought this has to have Conservative headquarters fingerprints all over it, because the video was just too well produced and too slick, and the whole thing had a feel of a kind of a PR agency, marketing agency. That's just my cynical view on it. Yeah. But I didn't really know the story. And then of course the petition, which kind of dramatically slowed down, because it feels like it should be at least 20 million signatures by now, sort of dramatically slowed down. But there is also some sort of feeling like it's almost like almost like the powers that be is like desperately wanting people to believe that they can make a change through the system and therefore sign this petition, and that's how we're going to make change. You've got to sign this petition. And in a way, I mean, I did sign it and I shared it and I encouraged people, but equally, yes, let's sign the petition, but don't hold your breath. It's like, because
I agree.
And the thing is, when they hear you think, when they say, well, we're going to hear it at Westminster, or it will be heard in the Houses of Parliament, that doesn't mean in the main chamber. That means in some side room in Westminster Hall with a little select committee, and it's just sidelined, and then it's just like, oh no, well, 3 million people signed, but no, democracy says we've had a general election, such and such statute says there won't be another one for 4 years, blah, blah, blah. And they'll just like shelve it, and people will think, well, at least it was heard, and democracy, yes, we have to uphold, you know, it's kind of, you know, so it's like we're working in a parallel system.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. I think there's a lot of that. I mean, I literally was watching it for days, the petition, and it was going up.
Yes, exponentially, and then boom! It just suddenly like someone poured a bucket of cold water over it, and it just started creeping up. And I'm like, no.
Yes, it literally kind of stopped. Literally one day, it just kind of stopped. Yes. And so I know there's loads of other nuances going on. I'm not naive to any of that.
Yes.
To me, it's something interesting, however it was conceived. I mean, I think the guy said that he did the video himself. Who knows? I don't know.
Well, I guess all these things are capturing the sort of zeitgeist of the times, aren't they? And so that's what we're really, it. You know, it is the zeitgeist of the times.
And I think people were signing it and listening to the song that wouldn't normally do that. And I think in a way you have to sort of let go of the cynicism sometimes and just allow the thing to happen.
Yeah. But it's 1 o'clock, but just on a little final word of that. I mean, I know, having met a lot of people from within the Labour Party and Labour Party you know, supporters and MPs and people within that world, I don't think Starmer's going to get away so easily with the World Economic Forum agenda, because there's a lot of militant people in Labour, a lot of wild cards. And Piers Corbyn was saying this when I met him. He says there's a lot of wild cards in Labour. They're not going to be so obediently compliant as the Con Party were with Boris Johnson in 2019 when he came in. They're not going to be able to get away with it. And, you know, Keir Starmer is skating on very thin ice, you know, with what he's done. He's a ruthless, heartless, soulless individual as far as I can see. He's not there for the people. And I think that there will be a backlash within Labour itself. It will eat its. I have a sense it will crumble and eat itself. The snake eating its own tail, sort of thing. That's my sense. Anyway, thanks for coming on, Janine, and thank you to everyone who's come on the call. It's great to see you, great to be in the host seat. Sending you lots of love. Give us a wave and I'll use that as the thumbnail. And so I'll put this recording up. And thanks for coming on, everyone. Wishing you an amazing New Year's Eve celebration, and just really sending you so much love as we as we really ride this rising tide of energy into 2025. It's a 9-year of completion, and a year of the snake is all about transformation, picking up on the magic of the dragon to shed the skin of the old and emerge new into as we complete the old and co-create a wonderful new golden era. So sending you lots of love. Bye for now.